Good morning, everyone. My name is Chuck Davis. I am the President and CEO of Adaptive Solutions. I'd like to welcome everybody to this morning's webinar. Joining me this morning on our session is Charlie Magliato. Charlie is the Vice President of BizCom. I'm going to let Charlie say good morning. Would you please say hello, Charlie?
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. We look forward to your participation today.
Thank you very much. So this morning's webinar is a partnership that Adaptive has maintained with BizCom, and we're going to be talking about a very new and exciting product that is called BizCom VeriSync. Just to give you a little bit of an outline of today's agenda, Charlie is going to take us through the meat of the presentation from a technical perspective, explaining how VeriSync can help with attorney collaboration, creating a consistent file sharing and collaborative environment that attorneys can use in the business environment, and moving you further away from the challenge of consumer-based file sharing products and services such as Dropbox. BizCom has been in this space for some time with their product that is called the SFT, or the Shared File Transfer product, but the VeriSync product takes this to a whole nother level, establishing continuity and continued collaboration with documents and information exchange between yourself, your clients, and possibly co-counsel. Part of the presentation will talk about the capabilities of the software. Charlie will also touch on the security, because we can't have these conversations without talking about securing the client work product and data that we have out there. And we're going to wrap up with a live product demonstration that's just going to give you a very brief day in the life of the software. As we move towards the end of today's presentation, we'll have a small Q&A session, and then at the end of the session, we will be doing a gift card drawing for one lucky recipient for a $100 American Express gift card. Before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping notes. First, the phone lines are muted today. We have a full house on today's webinar. If you do have any questions that you would like to ask, on the right-hand side of your GoToMeeting panel, you will find the questions panel or the chat panel. Please feel free to use that panel and submit any questions, although we will have a formal question and answer session towards the end of the presentation today. A little bit about the Adaptive BizCom partnership. Adaptive Solutions and BizCom have been working closely together since 2009. Feels like yesterday. We were focused on building a business class partnership to help improve secure file transfer. So our early partnerships with BizCom were specific to the BizCom Delivery Server or the SFT product. And one of the things that we're very proud of is we were the co-developers of the Worksite connector for BizCom SFT. And that product has gained some wide-scale adoption in the legal market. Moving forward with the VeriSync product, Adaptive is very pleased to announce that we are a reseller partner, but more importantly, we'll be working very closely with BizCom to be a hosting provider of the VeriSync product. And in today's rapid world of cloud, we're hearing more and more about services that you want to stand up that reduce your digital footprint. And VeriSync is one of those instances where you can deploy an application but do not have to deploy a server or maintain yet another system in your environment. So Adaptive will be working from a reseller perspective and from the perspective of providing hosting of the application as a service. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and switch over, Charlie, make you the presenter, if I could, and let you take us through the core of the presentation.
Sounds good.
Okay, Charlie, the screen should be coming your way at this point.
Okay. Hopefully you can see my screen now.
It looks like we could see you.
Okay. I just want to reiterate that BizCom, we've really enjoyed our partnership with Adaptive Solutions to bring the most advanced, secure document delivery solutions to our mutual clients. A little bit about BizCom. We're focused on enterprise customers who need the most reliable and advanced document delivery solutions to support their business. We designed and build solutions that meet the most extreme operating environments. Our 28-year history supporting some of the largest companies in the world is a testament to the rock-solid craftsmanship and unparalleled support we give to our users. With over 100 law firm clients, BizCom is a leading supplier of secure file transfer and secure fax solutions to the legal market, and we're really excited to introduce our latest solution that meets the file sync and share needs of attorneys and legal staff while providing a level of security management and control that IT demands. So from what we've heard from our legal customers, the main concern is around manageability and security. The 2014 ILTA Technology Survey reported Dropbox is allowed and or provided to attorneys in 25% of firms with 49 or fewer attorneys, and 16% of firms with 50 to 149 attorneys. Yet law firm IT departments discourage the use of consumer file sharing services because of the potential risk of data breach and loss of control of confidential client information. Legal IT wants to accommodate their users with products like Dropbox, but with the enterprise controls and security built in. There are a lot of reasons that sync and share are so hot right now. I think one of the main drivers is around the expectation that you should have access to all your files wherever they are. We've gotten so used to having our email accessible anytime through our smartphones that files are the next logical step. As we become a more mobile workforce and adopt more devices to get work done, it becomes even more compelling to be able to view and share your files with others easily. But synchronizing files and sharing them have to be done securely. So that's a critical piece of the enterprise file sync and share market now. If you break it down into two groups, end users and administrators, we find that end users just want something that's easy and works intuitively. They want to synchronize all their files, but also share them with people both within the organization as well as the outside world, including clients and outside counsel. Administrators want to provide it, but they have their own requirements around security and control. So with these requirements in mind, BizCom leveraged over 26 years of secure document delivery experience to develop VeriSync, an enterprise file synchronization and sharing solution that delivers a new standard for ease of use, security, and control. For end users, it's seamless. VeriSync is directly integrated with the file system, so they're not really doing anything different. By simply specifying which folders you want to synchronize, you have instant access to those files without having to think about it. Instead of emailing yourself a file to work on a different location, you simply go to the synchronized folder, open it up, and work on it immediately. No need to shuttle files around. And we know that law firms are under increasing pressure to demonstrate to clients that sufficient security policies and technologies are in place to protect their confidential data. We're finding increasingly that law firms are reluctant to use file sharing services that utilize public cloud storage because of the potential for data breach and difficulty demonstrating to their clients that sufficient security controls are in place. With that in mind, BizCom has developed VeriSync as an on-premises or private cloud encrypted file synchronization and sharing solution that gives legal IT increased user management and control of confidential data. The IT administrator can see exactly what's going on, and all your data stays inside your network. VeriSync provides synchronization and access to files anytime and from any location. The web interface is the primary user interface and allows for folder creation, file upload and download, and folder and file sharing. The Windows and Mac desktop client allows for folder creation as well as synchronization to a desktop or laptop. The VeriSync mobile app allows for access of folders and files to an iOS or Android device, upload and synchronization of any file stored on the mobile device, and folder and file sharing. All folder creation and updates are automatically synced to all of the user's desktop, laptop, and mobile devices. VeriSync's collaboration allows multiple sharing options. First, a user can share a link to an external party to view and download a file or folder and its contents. Second, a user can share a folder, including giving the shared party the ability to download files and upload new files or file versions, which will be synced back to the sender's folder. VeriSync maintains detailed and permanent transaction logs with the ability to word and text search the logs for reporting of activities based on user or file name. And comprehensive reporting allows users to manage folder and file sharing transactions and administrators to monitor usage and audit all user activity. So now let's review the user and administrator interfaces and features. I think one of the things that made Dropbox so successful was something like 30 million or 300 million users right now in the consumer market is the simplicity and ease of use. We strive to maintain that simple and intuitive user interface while also providing the tools that IT needs. Setting up the sync client is easy. This can be installed manually or it can be pushed out through group policy. This is a lightweight app that sits in the system tray. When files are being transferred back and forth, it also pops up notifications in real time and shows you the latest files that have been synchronized. For end users on Windows, once VeriSync is set up, there really isn't an interface. You simply use your files as you always would. Any file that's stored under your synchronized folder is automatically synchronized with all of your other computers and devices. You can sync a local folder on your PC or a network drive as well. It really doesn't matter where those files live. If you're on the Mac, it's the same. No outwardly visible user interface. You access and use your files as you normally would. For mobile users, you can see all of your files on your phone or tablet. You can view files, rename them, delete them, or share them right from the app. Files are encrypted while on the mobile device as well. You can also see your synchronized folders on any web browser. No client needed other than a browser. We also support HTML5 natively, so you have the ability to drag and drop files directly into the browser. It's pretty much as easy as the desktop file system. You would also use the web interface to share files and folders. Sharing is simple. Open the menu next to each folder or file and enter the email addresses of the people you want to share with. You can make this a public link, or you can require authentication. It can be read-only, or if you're sharing a folder, you can let people upload their files. Because you might be sharing multiple folders with different people, the Shared Links web page is the one place to go to see what you've been putting out there. You can also remove the share, see the message you sent, and resend the notification email from this page. Administration happens through the web. You can manage the application, users, run reports, and customize the application. Settings include specifying the outbound SMTP email address to be used for outbound email delivery, setting minimum password strength requirements. And VeriSync is a MobileIron App Connect enabled app. You can require that the MobileIron app must be previously installed as a requirement for a VeriSync mobile app installation. You can enable back-end file system encryption and AD authentication. You can enable image verification using reCAPTCHA, and you can set file version retention options. The admin functions also include tracking space usage by user. The administrator can set individual user quotas for space usage. The system activity report shows all transactions, but this can be filtered. Here I'm specifying a date range as well as a search string. The search string is highlighted to make it easier to find. This report can be a huge help to track administrative changes made to the application. You can see who made the change as well as what the previous value was and what the new value is. VeriSync employs several layers of security. All communications between the user and the server are protected using SSL encryption, and all files are stored on the server are encrypted using AES-256 encryption, and we've been FIPS 140-2 certified by the federal government. All files are stored in the file system, are dissociated with their actual names, directory locations, owners, and any descriptive labels. So even if people internal to the organization have access to these files, they'll have difficulty seeing the files and who owns them or has access to them. All user passwords are stored in encrypted format and never in clear text in the database. To maximize security, VeriSync is designed as an on-premises deployment utilizing a three-tier architecture, including the presentation layer where the web server is deployed, the application layer, which contains the business logic, and the data layer, which includes the SQL database and file system. This type of architecture is the gold standard for web applications and is a proven design for secure applications. VeriSync, by default, installs all three layers on a single machine, but if required, each tier can be separated and run on different machines to increase security. For instance, the web server is deployed in the DMZ, which faces the public internet, while the application server, database, and file system are in a more protected layer on the internal network. A firewall can be inserted between each layer to restrict access to the layer below, and you can define firewall rules to restrict access to specific ports and specific IP addresses. Someone trying to hack into a system that is separated into tiers must first break into the web server, then the application server, and finally the encrypted database and file system. Just to wrap up, I want to point out three main aspects of VeriSync. I think it's also useful to think of any file sync and share solution with these three things in mind. Security is probably what most people are concerned about. We built VeriSync with security as our most important priority. This sets us apart from other users in this space. The architecture is also important. Not only is it important for security, but you want to make sure it's flexible enough to deploy in any environment. VeriSync was designed as an enterprise application, so it's able to scale as your needs grow. Finally, it's crucial to keep it simple. That's my theme today. Easy to use means it will be adopted and used. VeriSync is a viable alternative to the unsanctioned applications that people may try to install in your network. So we believe VeriSync provides the right mix of security and ease of use that will meet the file sync and sharing requirements of legal professionals and legal IT alike. What I'd like to do right now is actually show you a little bit of the software and talk about how VeriSync works both in the web client as well as interacts with our desktop and laptop clients and our mobile devices. So if you'll allow me, I will start things out a little bit. Here's the web interface. Again, the web interface provides access to the folders and files that you need to synchronize. And you would identify using this simple tray application here. This identifies the server you're connected with, your authentication method, your password, and the actual sync route within your client, whether it's the Windows desktop or whether it's the Mac. This identifies a sync route that will synchronize all of your VeriSync folders. So in this case, my sync route is listed right here, and it lists all of my files and folders that are synchronized. And here is the web interface that shows files and folders on the server itself. So in this environment, for instance, we can go into case files and open this up. So I'll open up case files on my server. There's 2 files right now. And here I'll open it up in the web environment. So here is my desktop client, my Windows client. Here's the server environment. I can go in, and if I upload a new file, I can choose a file. I can pick this one right here, which is a PDF. Close that. And that will be replicated to, you'll see it here. I've added it here and immediately replicates it to my Windows client on my, in this case, I'm working off my laptop. If I had a Windows client on my desktop, it'll replicate it there. It'll also replicate it to my mobile app. And what I'm going to do right now, if you'll allow me, is to, let's see if I have this running. I do. I'm going to show you the mobile app really quickly. And if my reflector is working properly, we should be able to see this. So reflector, do your magic. I'm going to mirror it. And you'll see that it's listed, and this is my iPad currently, so I'm going to go into the VeriSync app. And you'll see if I go into case files, there is the original 2 files that I showed there, as well as the additional file that I added. And I mentioned I'll revisit my mobile device in a little bit, but I do want to go back to my desktop. So I'm going to shut off my mirroring. And what I'll do is show you how you can share a folder. As I mentioned, there are 2 ways of sharing it. You can share it as a public folder, which means you're sending a link to that folder, and the recipient has access to the folder and can download the files. Or you can share it as a private folder. which means that it will require registration and authentication on the part of the recipient. But once they access the folder, they not only can download the files, but they can upload the files. And any files that are uploaded will be synchronized back to the sender's folder. So I will show you, if I go into share here, I will put in an email address. Oops. Here we go here. I'll put in message. And in this case, I'm requiring the recipient to log in. And if I go into my email, this is one that I shared previously. I should be seeing the other one shortly. But it will allow me as the recipient to view the folder. And it's going to require that I log in. Oops, didn't like that. That's because it was the wrong login. Bear with me 1 second. So let's try this one. So now it brings up the shared folder. Again, I'm playing the role of the recipient right now, and you'll see that it has the most current version of the case file, including that PDF that I uploaded. And I do have permissions to add files to it as well. So if I go into Documents and go back here, let's add this December balance sheet just as an example. So that's uploaded to the recipient, and is now uploaded that to the case file. And if I go back to, you'll see that now on my the web interface, it's added that. Is that December balance sheet. And if I go back into my my Windows client, you'll see that it's added there. So immediate replication, immediate synchronization to all of the devices, including the mobile device. So that's how you share a folder. Again, two ways of sharing. You share it as a public folder, which means the recipient only has access to the folder for download purposes, or you share it as a private folder, which requires the recipient to register with the system, create a password, and then have access to the folder, not only to download, but also to upload. And at any point in time, I can look at the links that I sent out, and I might want to see what the activity is for that link. So there's a couple of things I can do. I can unlink it so that the folder is no longer available to the recipient. I can resend the link, or I can look at the history related to that link. So now this shows all of the history related to the folder that I've shared out, including all of the activity of the recipient, whether they downloaded files, whether they uploaded files back. I can also review links that I've received. I can look at reports. Here's the system activity report, which will show all of the activity in the transaction logs from day one. This is a great report for IT administrators that need to audit the files if there's a concern about particular activity for a particular user, particular activity related to a particular file. They can do a keyword search, and they can filter it by date range as well. And as far as administration, here is where I can, let me bring this down a little bit, manage users. Let me go back in here, and these are the general settings where I can set information regarding the email SMTP server that I want to use for my notifications as I share folders. Here's where I set my password strength. Here's where I define whether I want this to be connected via the MobileIron environment. Here's where we default encryption on the server, but you can unencrypt it if you desire. We're integrated with AD authentication, so your users can authenticate using their AD credentials. And file version retention. If I go back, one thing I did want to show you is if I go back here, I believe it's this here, you can actually see versions. So in this case, once somebody uploads a different version, whether it's the sender or the recipient, if they upload a different version of a particular file, the system maintains the previous versions for you. And if I go back to my mobile app, and I can show some of the other features in the mobile app as well. So in talking about the case files, I can actually, from within your the mobile app, you can actually share either a file or a folder, just as I showed you how a folder is shared within the web interface. So it's basically the same approach. You enter your emails that you want to share this folder with. You can put in a message. You can require the recipients to log in, and once you do that, you can also allow them to upload files. So with that said, I am going to shut this off. And I'm going to return it back to Chuck to wrap things up.
Thank you, Charlie. Great demonstration. I think everybody can clearly see that the VeriSync product is a very lightweight piece of software, seamless, and the performance is very quick. I think data went back and forth at lightning speed on this demonstration. Can you just elaborate, Charlie, a little bit on your environment where you're working? Where are you in relationship to the VeriSync cloud so folks can get an idea of that performance buffer?
Right now, I'm in our Chelmsford office, and the VeriSync server is deployed in our office here. So it gives you a sense for the on-premise. As you deploy on-premises, you'll find that the uploads and the downloads are very quick because you're working in your local network. But I also showed that from the mobile app, I connected via Wi-Fi here, and it showed that the synchronization over the network, over the internet, is also very quick.
And obviously anything that would go to outside counsel or to clients would have to traverse the internet anyway, but in relative terms, these documents are very, very small, and bandwidth has become much faster in these days. Okay, Charlie, could I trouble you to present the ball back to me on the GoToMeeting?
I certainly will. It's coming. Here it goes.
And what we're going to do at this point is go ahead and ask folks if they have any questions specific to the GoToMeeting session that we're viewing today. And while we're waiting for those to come in, I want to remind everyone that today's session is being recorded. So if someone within your firm would have liked to attend the session and was not able to join today's webinar, please know that in the next 24 hours, the full recorded session will be available at adaptivesolutions.com's website as well as BizCom's website. So if you guys are looking for that or would like to share it with someone in your environment, please know that our website will have a recorded copy. And it looks like, Charlie, that we are getting one question that's coming in. A user is asking, are there any file size limits to the product?
No. As a matter of fact, we've designed VeriSync with the same robust file upload capabilities that we have in Secure File Transfer. With our Secure File Transfer product, we have it deployed in a number of large law firms, and several of them are mutual BizCom Adaptive clients, and they're using it for e-discovery intake and production delivery. And we have one mutual client that uploads 50 to 100 gigabytes at a time. So we've taken that technology that we've built, that performance that we've built in our Secure File Transfer solution, and we've adopted that for VeriSync. So we've tested it with uploads of 5 to 10 gigabytes without any problem at all. And that's really the differentiator when you compare us with some of the cloud solutions out there. You're going to find the performance is tremendous compared to some of the solutions that are available via the public cloud.
Perfect. We have one more, Charlie, that's coming in. Someone's asking, is this all software-based or is there an appliance?
This is all software-based. It can be installed either as a Windows deployment or as a VM. We actually delivered a VM appliance as well, but it can be installed in Hyper-V or any other VM appliance.
Wonderful. One more question. Is there a way to secure a file without prompting the recipient to create a BizCom account?
Yes. When we send a delivery, when we share a folder with a recipient, it does not require that they have a BizCom account. What I showed you was basically a folder that I shared. An email notification goes to the recipient. When they click on that link, they're actually coming into a web page off our web server. So there's no software required on their end.
Okay, great. And believe it or not, I knew this question would be coming, but two people are asking the same question. They're asking that we have built a worksite connector specific to SFT. They wanted to know if there's any plans for integration with the DMS systems in the legal market.
Well, you know, we are very interested in collaborating with Adaptive on that. I know we have very successful iManage connector, worksite connector, and with it, this is a relatively new product, but we're looking at how we can take the technology that we built with SFT, which is basically a Java app or a separate applet, and work it within the HTML5 environment. So we are looking at that with Adaptive.
And on our behalf, I could say that our developer, that is a resident API developer on Worksite, did the development on the SFT connector. And I think that's key because law firms are so specific to keeping content in that document repository that it creates that extra step. So we will be in conversations with the folks at BizCom about looking at a Worksite connector. Someone else is also asking if a firm were to premise-base this software, what would the server specs look like if they wanted to bring this in-house?
We can get you that information. I don't have that in front of you. It doesn't take a huge footprint, but Chuck, well, why don't I work with you to provide those specs, and we can follow up.
We can certainly do that. And I have one more, and I'm going to cap it at this. Is there any live editing of files without multiple versions?
If a file is edited, a separate version will be created. Actually, you can turn off versions so that it'll just show the most current version, which is whatever editing has been accomplished up to that point.
So you're saying an option could be set in VeriSync not to show any previous versions, just the then current version is shown.
That's correct.
Great. Well, we got a lot of great questions from today's session, and I appreciate everybody taking the time to submit them through the chat panel. While Charlie was going through and doing his presentation, I had the opportunity to write down everybody's name that is an attendee today and put them into a hat, and I'm going to go ahead and pull a name out of the hat right now and see who today's lucky winner is of the gift card drawing. And it looks like it's Joan Ween at Hamburg Rubin. She is the lucky recipient of a $100 American Express gift card. Joan, I know we have your contact information, and we'll be certain to get that out to you in the mail in the next couple of few days. And we appreciate everybody joining. The last slide I'd like to show you is that if you have any questions specific to today's presentation or BizCom or Adaptive in general, please jot down our contact information. You can email us at sales@adaptivesolutions.com. Our phone number is listed. We also have a blog site at adaptivesolutions.com/blog. The website is listed, and obviously if you want to find out what's happening in the world of legal technology, follow us at AdaptSol on Twitter. With that, I think what I'm going to do, Charlie, is thank everybody for their time today and remind them that the recorded session will be up in the next day or two. And I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time.